Are you sick of never making progress on your lady push-ups? Gosh, I hate that name. I think every woman should be able to claim a full push-up, and in this video, I'm gonna show you everything you need to know to go from the kneeling push-up to a full push-up and build that strength that you need to support your body and actually have great upper body strength. We include in this video 3 drills that are gonna complement your push-ups as well and give you a plan to actually make progress and get there. First up, it's really important that we work on our plank position, whether you're planking in your kneeling position, so when I'm in plank top of the push-up, or a full plank when you've got your legs straight and toes tucked. So let me show you some elements that you need to make sure you have when you are working on the top of the push-up. So if Marty comes to his top of a kneeling push-up first, your knees will be back. What we want to make sure is we have one long line from your knees, hips are in line, shoulders and head. So let's go through a few points here. Firstly, the hips. We need to make sure they're not dropping, so sagging in the waist or overcompensating, and you're drawing the hips back. If you're finding you can't hold yourself in this position, like it's too much on the core, I would then regress this position, your push-up, to an elevated push-up where your upper body is more elevated onto a step or a chair, okay? Because you want your knees back so that the core is working here. Secondly, to make sure the core is working, and if you can't feel your core, then you need to make sure you're implementing these points. Ribs towards the back body. Yeah, so that we're almost creating like a hollow body shape, so pressing into the back, thinking really broad. Same with the shoulder blades, they're protracted, spread apart. You're pressing the hands into the ground, spreading the shoulders apart. Now, what a lot of people do is shoulder position. They get this wrong. So they might go into the plank, knees are back, everything's looking good, but the shoulders are behind the wrists. Now, if you're missing this point, you're not loading your wrists correctly and they will never build up. We want to make sure the shoulders are over the wrist, if not forward in front of the wrist. If you really want to build it up, we want the shoulders slightly in front of the wrist or directly over. When it comes to head position, I like to think of a triangle. So 2 hands and then the top of the triangle, and that's where you're going to be looking with your eyes, just so that your neck is in a good alignment. It's exactly the same when you're training the full push-up. And even if you're only doing a kneeling push-up right now, you still want to be training your full push-up so that your core is going to be able to support you. So top of the push-up, we've got foot, hips, shoulders, pressing through the back body, sideways drawing in, shoulders over the wrist or in front, and then looking just in front here. Now, hand position, really important. You want as much space between your fingers as you can. None of this like little no tension in the hands. You want to be putting as much tension through those hands, spreading the fingers, pressing into the ground. And obviously there's so many ways to do push-ups. There's narrow, tricep, there's wide, everything in between. In general, if you're just starting out, I would do index fingers pointing forward, and you want to have like almost a little bit of an external rotation, trying to spread the ground apart with your hands as you're in that position. So you're not actually moving the hands, it's like an intention to really get those lats on. Now, no matter where you're at in your kneeling push-up, you want to make sure you are progressing on your depth. So you can only do this if you're measuring your progress, which is why I love using a block. So what you want to do is start at your height that you can do to start with. So get into your kneeling push-up, and you might want to test this with us. You can start with the block on the highest height, put it under the chest. You're going to do a good form push-up, lowering your chest to the height of the block and then pressing away. What you want to make sure is that your chest and belly are lowering and pressing away at the same time. You can then lower the block to the medium height and same thing, get that tap and press away. And then as you make progress and you start improving, you can go to the lowest height. And there's even chest to floor if you want to go for deficit and bringing the chest, do a new chest to floor, bringing the chest down to the ground where it goes past elbows and pressing away. Okay, so you want to make sure you're measuring that from week to week, because if we're not measuring, we're not making progress. Let's get to the key of progressing from the kneeling to the full push-up. Now, this is a game changer because it allows a middle step, because I know when you're going from kneeling to full push-up, it just seems like 0 to 100, like it's too big a step to still keep control and good form. So this push-up is called mechanical advantage. So what we are gonna do is start in our full push-up, lower down to the height, maybe the highest version of the block, then lower the knees, press up in the kneeling push-up and reset. What that's going to allow us to do is practice the full push-up on the negative. Practicing the negative, our muscles are learning the pattern, we're learning the depth, we're learning everything we need to engage, and it's going to make that step to the full push-up a lot easier. So let's demonstrate. Marty's going to come into a full push-up position, so top of the plank. He's going to lower to the height of the block. Stay there, knees lower, and pressing away in the kneeling push-up, reset to the top of the plank. So it's down on the full, lower the knees, up on the kneeling, reset. So this is how you will practice your reps and sets if you're in that in-between of going to a kneeling to a full. So once you have got a little bit more depth in your mechanical advantage push-up, to progress to the full, you will go back up to the top height and do your full push-up in a limited depth. So you might only be able to control that for now, and you'll practice your full push-up with that depth, and then slowly lowering the block as we go. By doing this, we're making sure we're really keeping our form no matter what level we are at, and we're not gonna injure ourselves, and we're gonna keep our joints safe as we get stronger. So if you are ready to commit and get from your kneeling push-up to a full push-up, which I truly believe every adult woman should claim and maintain for life, then this is what you need to do. It takes no talent. All it takes is a commitment of consistency and being able to apply progressive overload. So what I recommend is training your push-ups at least 2 to 3 times a week. That's going to give you enough in the bank to make sure that the body is adapting to building strength. Secondly, you want to make sure you're including reps and sets. Why? Because it's going to allow you to have breaks and keep good form. So for example, if you do a set of 6 push-ups and you're able to maintain really good form, have a break, and then you do that set again. So you will do 6 reps, for example, at 4 or 5 sets. If you do 6 reps at 4 sets, that's 24 push-ups in one session. And you probably can't do 24 really good form push-ups in a row right now, but if you break it up into those sets, it's much easier to recover and then also maintain good form throughout. If you do this method for at least, I would say 4 to 6 weeks, I can almost guarantee you are going to claim that full push-up. And we would love to hear from you. If you do, please make sure you let us know. Before I go any further, I want to tell you about our course, Journey to Chin Up. Did you know that the average number of chin-ups a woman can do is 0? This makes me really sad because I know that with the right formula and progression, things like a chin-up or pull-up are accessible for anyone. You just need to be willing to put in the work, and the benefits of getting a skill like a full push-up, a chin-up, a pull-up are amazing. It means that you've got really solid grip strength, upper body strength. You can prevent injuries down the track when we're older. We're also going to maintain our mobility in our shoulder girdle, our back, work on our core, and have those skills for life as long as you maintain training this. So in Journey to Chin Up, we show you the step-by-step progression from wherever you are at, whether you can't even really hang yet. We show you from this point all the way to achieving your first unassisted chin up. Go check it out in the description below. It's a self-paced course and you get the course for life. So all you need to do is take it to the gym or grab a pair of rings or a bar at home and start working towards that new skill. I now want to show you 3 drills that are going to complement your push-up building program, and they're really going to target your wrists, your scapula or shoulder girdle, and your core. They complement this really well. You could do it as a warm-up, but you could also just add it into any time in your training just to make sure that your joints are staying strong and you can build it safely. So the first one is your wrists. So this exercise here is called a wrist raise. You're gonna start on all fours. Your knees can be close to your wrists, or to make it harder, you can draw them back away from your wrists. But to start with, make sure it's a point you can control. What's more important is that your shoulders are way over your wrists. And then from here, elbows are straight. And as we load these wrists up, we're coming onto the first knuckle. So we're lifting the palms, controlling the way down. As you start to improve on these and get used to this raise of the palm and coming down, you can start to draw those knees back. So we start loading these wrists even more. This is often a point that a lot of people struggle with when it comes to push-ups, is weak wrists. So this is a great conditioning exercise to building those up. You can do 3 sets of 10 reps to really get into your wrist joint and build up that stability. The next one is a scapular push-up. I really like these because it builds awareness in the shoulder blades. It gets strength in the front and the back of the shoulder. You can start this in, again, a quadruped or a kneeling push-up is a great place to start as well. You can even do these in a quadruped, knees hovering, if you want a little bit more core engagement as well. All right, so I'll show you the knees down version today. Hands underneath the shoulders, knees can be underneath your hips or slightly back. From here, you're going to press the hands into the ground and spread the shoulders apart. And then keeping the elbows straight, drop the chest and squeeze the shoulders at the back. So pressing the shoulder blades away, and then retract the shoulder blades as if there's like a pencil between your shoulder blades and you're trying to squeeze that pencil. If you can, with the elbows, keep the eye of the elbows forward. It's really tempting for beginners to bend the elbows and want to get the more movement from the elbows as well. It's going to be a small movement to start with. As you practice and get more mobility in the shoulder girdle, it will get easier. And then to progress, you simply bring the knees back so you can load those shoulder blades a little bit more. Again, you can do 3 rounds of 10 reps. The next one is a really great starting point to build your core. If you find especially you're sagging in your push-up, I like to teach this one on your back, as well as doing, obviously, practicing the top of the push-up, because when you're on your back, the floor is going to give you just a bit more feedback if you're feeling like you don't understand where your body is in space in a full plank position. So Marty's going to come onto his back. We'll start at a beginner version and I'll show you how to progress this. So from here, feet on the ground, hands just over your shoulders. Yeah. So what I want you to think about here is first your pelvic position. So you can rock the pelvis forward. That's going to be your anterior tilt, and tuck the pelvis under posterior tilt. You want to be a bit more into the posterior tilt if you can for this one, because that's what's going to give you our hollow body. So think about pressing your lower back down into the ground. So as you maintain pushing that lower back down into the ground, float one leg up to a tabletop position, and then maintain that as you float the other leg up. Now this might be your starting point, and this might be where you're going to work and breathe. If you can, bring the feet a little more in front so the core works a little bit harder. And then if you can, again, bring the arms 45 degrees above your head. So this now, maintaining the ribs down, maintaining pressing your lower back down into the ground, is going to be a really good core exercise, and you can stay here for 30 to 60 seconds. If you want to progress it even more, you can come up to, I was going to say, a small little sit up first. So curling up through the upper body, holding so the ribs come down, and then bringing the arms above your head. So you're kind of looking between the legs. And then if you want to progress it more, as Marty did, you can extend the legs even further, pressing the core down into the ground and holding your whole body. But you want to make sure it's always a level you can control, and then have a rest after about 30 to 60 seconds. So again, you can choose your level, do 30 to 60 seconds, 3 rounds as your core exercise. If you are going to commit to building your first full push-up, please let us know in the comments below. Give the formula a try, implement the tips, and we would love to hear from you. Please even send us a message, a video. If you found these tips and things that we shared helpful, please make sure you give it a like, and we look forward to seeing you in the next one.